In today's English lesson, we are going to read a news article together. This advanced lesson will focus on very essential vocabulary and grammar you need to know, not only to fully to understand this article, but to participate in the culture of English speaking world. We will analyze each paragraph. Finally, at the end of the lesson, we read the article that you can understand the best pronunciations and intonation. So, welcome back to Smile English Learn. Of course, I'm Zeeshan, so get let's started. That first headline is that First headline: To resist the climate crisis, we must resist the billionaire class. To resist, we must resist. To solve the climate crisis, power must flow away from the billionaire class. Important words: flow away. To solve climate crisis, must. The use of grammar is must. To resist is to oppose, defy, or withstand something. To oppose or fight against. That, for example, the protesters resisted the government new policies. Must is a modal verb that expresses necessity or obligations. Necessity or obligations. For example, I must use my phone to call him. She must study harder to pass the exam. Flow away is physical meanings: to move smoothly, to move continuously or smoothly, often in a fluid or steady stream. The river flows away into the oceans. That start the article. When I feel uncertain, I find it's helpful to write down things I know to be true. Fossil fuels are causing irreversible planetary overheating threats essentially the all life to Earth. Oil and gas executive news this, but they choose to systematically lie and block a climate transitions. They continue to make this choice. That important word is uncertain, find to be true. Fossil fuels, irreversibles, planetary threats, and essentially systematically transitions. Uncertain is that lack of confidence, feeling unsure or hesitant or something. Find physical discovery, location, physical object or place. I found my keys under the couch. To be true, verification, seeking confirmations or proof that something is accurate. For example, I want to verify the fact to be true. Fossil fuel is include coal formed from a plant remains. Coal is a solid fossil fuel. Oil is natural gas is that fossil fuel produce energy. Planetary is that planetary system, the study of planets and their interaction with a solar system. For example, climate change is a planetary issue that require global corporations. Threatens is that endangers, impairs, jeopardize, intimidates. For example, the company financial struggles threatens its future. Essentially highlights the most important critical aspect of something. The problem is essentially a matter of poor communications. Systematically, a step by step approach, breaking down a task or process into logical, consequential steps. The researchers systematically collected the analyzed data to the study. Transitions are physical transitions moving from one place to another. From one place to another. The family is going, for example, the family is going to through transition as they relocate to a new cities. Second paragraph, I choose to my focus my energy to the climate crisis because is a habitable planet is a prerequisite for everything worth fighting for, and because the prospect of losing a planet feels horrific and sad to me, in a primal way that I can express my words. I am also simply in love with Earth with but planetary. Overheating is really just that the most geophysical system symptom of executive colonial capitalism. Billionairism is a system designed to pump wealth from the power to the rich, creating billionaires that healthcare crisis and housing crisis, genocide hierarchies like racism and patriarchy, and great deals of suffering. Choose to is intentional decisions, a conscious choice rather than a random or involuntary actions. For example, I choose to pursue a career in art, desire, and challenges. Habitable is suitable temperatures, now too hot or now too cold for life to exist. Prerequisite is a necessity. A required conditions are qualification. For example, a bachelor degree is a prerequisite for admissions to the master program. Prospect of future possibility, a potential outcome to event that might occur. For example, the prospect of traveling the world excites me. Primal way is a important word. Instinctual behaviors acting on institutions or guts, feelings, or innate instincts. For example, the primal way of connecting with nature helped me find inner peace. Design to important word is intentional. Creating something has a deliberately crafted or engineered. For example, this software is designed to help small businesses manage their finances, pump wealth, investing for growth, putting money into assets or ventures that have potential for high returns. For example, the company new strategy aims to pump wealth into the local community. Hierarchies, organizational structures, corporations, governments, and institutions often have hierarchical systems. Racism is a prejudice that discriminations, unfair treatment, or basis against people based on their race, ethnicity, or national origins. Patriarchy is that male dominance. Men hold positions of power, that authority in society. Support women's empowerment, advocate for women's rights and opportunities. The third paragraph is that humanity already has the technology to quickly transition away from fossil fuel. Solar has been the cheapest way to produce electricity for half into decades now, but ultra wealthy people are blocking transitions. Perhaps they do not wake up with tend to destroy with the planet, but they have invested in maintaining the executive system and gives them good likes, power, and privilege that is destroying the planet. That important word is that transition way, leaving something behind, abandoning or departing from a previous state or institution. She is transitioning away from old jobs to start her own business. The ultra wealthy substantial financial assets, large portfolios to investment, real estates, and other vulnerable assets. For example, for the ultra wealthy individual includes intent to is a purposeful actions, a deliberate decision to take actions toward a specific object. The company has announced to its intent to expand into new markets. Good like power is that omnipotence, having unlimited power or control. For example, the superhero good like power allowed him to save the city from distractions. The third paragraph is that our centuries of enclosure that the ultra wealthy have refined a system in which wealth accrues or more wealth, even spanning generations. They have systematically removed constraint to their ability to hoard buying politicians and law to further tilt the system in their favor and entrench their hold on power. Elon Musk just spent $277 million elect Trump and other Republican candidates, but this was a mere 0.06% of this net worth. Understanding just how much wealth $430 billion represent require a good visualizations. The Mountain Valley Pipeline, a fragged gas project that is the last things this overheating planet needs that had been essentially killed activists, was revived after a blocking corporations denoted a nearly 30 hundreds through 1600 to the Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer. Important word enclosure, physical boundary, a wall, fence to other structure that surround an area or project boundary. Barriers. For example, the zoo enclosure for the lions is designed to mimic their natural habitat. Refined is cultivated taste, sophisticated to discerning references after art, music, and cuisines. For example, her refined plate allow her to appreciate the subtle nuance of fine wine. Accrues fine financial growth, interest individuals to other financial benefit accumulate over time increase. The savings account accrues interest monthly helps to grow your wealth. Spinning generations, largely something that has been passed down, continue from a generation for the next time. The family business has been spinning generation with each successor building on the founder legacy. Constrained on limitations, restrictions on the scope, scale, or extent of something. The budget constraint on the project limited the team's ability to hire additional staff. Entrench important word, deepening roots, establishing something firmly, making it more subtle and secure established. For example, the company's successor has entrenched its position as a market leader. Hold on to grapes or cling to something or someone often is prevents falling or separations. Hold on the handrail while walking up the stairs. Visualizations involve using your mind eyes, create vivid mental image and scenarios often. Fragged involved injecting help high pressures fluids into underground rocks formations or to release. The third paragraph, but to solve the climate crisis, the healthcare crisis, all the other symptoms, billionarism to transition to system designed for well-being of all power must flow away from the billionaire class, and as Earth rapidly overheat, the rest of us can wait for them to cede power voluntarily due to its part of the lies intentional spread by fossil fuels executive. Most people still have to clue what grave danger they are in. The wealthy are stealing the planet out from over under them. That important word flow away. Water, air, the other fluids moving freely, often carrying things along with them. For example, the river's current flow the way from the shore. Rapidly, something is happening is moving at a fast pace. The fire spread rapidly through the dry forest. To seed is a giving up control, ownership of a territory, region, or land. The country ceded the disputed territory to its neighbor. Voluntary is a person chooses act or participate of their own. She volunteered to help at the charity event. Voluntary lies is a deliberate attempt to deceive or mislead others. The the politicians lies about the financial dealings with exposed by the media, spread by passing something information disease from one person or entity or another. The virus spread by contact with contaminated water, Clue. The detective finds a clue at the crime scenes that lead the suspect. That fourth paragraph to resist, then start by orienting against the real enemy. The wealthy people invested in the status quo for climate, specifically orient against the oil, gas, and coal executive who spread disinformation to continue profiting from our planet destruction, taking away their power. Won't be easy. They use to their influence to the media to the keep the rest of us divided and ignorant, delaying the sort of coherent public outrage and would be their downfall. People are waking those who are fighting is live planet must build our own power, join together in mutual support, and use the truth fan is the flame of the justified range in every way we can. That important word is that status quo. The present circumstances, condition, or state of being. The company management wants to maintain the status quo despite the changing market trends. Profiting is earning a profit or benefit, often through business or investment activities. The company is profiting from sale of their new product. Take away, removing or privilege or right, depriving someone of benefit, freedom, or entitlement. The court took away the driver license due to reckless behavior. Influence, ability to inspire or motive. For example, the teacher's influence to her students were evident in their improved grades. Delaying, postponing, or decision to actions. For example, the committee is delaying to vote until more information are available. Coherent is logical or consistent ideas or concepts that we are well organized make sense together. The professor's coherent explanations to the complex theory help the student understand it. Logical, public outrage, moral indignation, strong feeling of disgust, anger, or resentment in response to a perceived injustice and wrongdoings. The public outrage, the corruption scandal lead to demands for accountability and reforms. A livable planet. The stable atmosphere with oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases support life. Fan the flame of admetic expressions. That means intentionally increase or fuel strong emotions such as anger and passion, excitement. The politician's speech fanned the flames of nationalism, speaking widespread protest. Justified is important word is that actions, decisions that comply with laws, regulations, and technical standards. The engineers designed were justified as it met a safety or building codes. That second for fifth paragraph, as global heating continues to accelerate, the billionaire class will attempt to use worsening climate catastrophic to further divide us, redirecting our fears toward scapegoats and using fascism to further consolidate power through state violence. We must use climate chaos stated to unite across the arsil conservative, wrong, working class people through gaslit by political and faith leaders who continue to lie and tell them the climate crisis is a hoax, or realizing through their lived experience that planet actually is overheating is overheat is overheating, breaking down. We must welcome them into the movement continues to is outgoing in an action or process that is still happening or remains a progress. The company continues to innovate, releasing the new product and services. Accelerate is increase speed to move faster of after a physical sense, such as accelerating vehicles. The car accelerated down to highway quickly, reaching or top speed. That attempt to try to endeavor. Make an effort to accomplish something even if success is not generated. I shall attempt to fix the broken appliance, but I am not sure if I succeeded. Worsening is deteriorations, it declines, or degenerations, or quality or conditions or situation. The patient condition is worsening that the doctors are trying to stabilize her. Catastrophic is a natural disaster. Event like earthquake, hurricanes, uh, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions that cause destruction or loss of life. For example, the hurricanes that the coastal town was a catastrophic, leaving thousands homeless and without power. Divide or separations or fragmentations. For example, the politician rhetoric aimed to divide us along party lines rather than finding common grounds. Redirecting, reframing negative thoughts. Instead of fearing public speaking is redirecting my fears, excitement, or sharing new ideas with others. Scapegoats is unfairly blamed. The employee was made a scapegoat for the company financial struggles despite being a dedicated worker. Fascism, authoritarianism, a centralized government with a strong leader who holds absolute power and controls. For example, of fascist regimes include Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler. Consolidate is merging or combining. For example, the company consolidated its operations, merging three departments into one. Chaos is complete disorder, a lack of organization, structure, or control leading to confusion and unpredictability. The surprise storm caused chaos in the city, power outrage, and flooded. Instead is replaced an original plan. I am going to attend the conferences, but instead I shall stay home and work on my project. Gaslit is emotional manipulations. She felt gaslit by a partner who constantly denied infidelity and made her question her own money. Hoax is international deceptions, a deliberate attempt to mislead or deceive other after personal gain or amusement. The fake news article was exposed to hoax and the perpetrator was charged with fraud. Breaking down is systematic failure, a failure or collapse of system, process, or structure. The company's supply chain started breaking down due to logistical issues and delays. That sixth paragraph is that can we imagine finding common ground with each other? Can we imagine coming out of fear that makes us too easy to divide? I have experienced how many grief can feel threatening to those who cling to cheap hope, paradoxically real. Real hopes come through accepting grief from allowing your mind to let to go modernity because this letting go to unlocks new possibilities and pathway for action. We must guard against the kind of superficial hope that it is surfaces of denial, such as the belief that we can keep fossil fuel modernity going with distractions like recycling and carbon capture. Paradoxically, in a way that contradicts acceptations and logic, seemingly contradictory or inconsistent. Inconsistent. Superficial is a lacking of depth and substance and genuine hope. The politician promised change grave over superficial hope, but it was not backed by concrete actions. Denial. Denial is refusing or accepting facts. Despite the doctor diagnosis, we was in denial about his illness. Distraction is over on thoughts, emotions, and habits that takes over focus away in interruptions. My mind keeps wondering that I am having trouble concentrating. That's sixth paragraph. sixth paragraph is that let's have conspiracy potlucks. Let's remember how to listen and figure things out together. Let's join the Nature network of communities based on trust and mutual aid, where we had each other backs and takes care of each other in a material way. That important word is let's have grammatically conspiracy potlucks. Let have is an imperative sentence which is type of a sentence that issues and command, makes a request, provide an invitations. For example, a fascinating complex topic. Conspiracy is a hidden or covert plan of often involving a group of people achieve to an unlawful harmful goal. Potlucks is an informal meal or gathering where participants bring a dish, food, or share to other. The office is having to put locks lunch on Friday on bring your favorite dish share. Notter is providing care, support, and guidance to help someone grow, develop, and thrive. The teacher murdered her students' creativity, encouraging them to express themselves through art. Mutual aid. A voluntary exchange of resources, services, or support between individual groups or communities based on reciprocity or solidarity. The community organized a mutual aid network to help each other during the pandemic. In a material way, a significant, substantial, or tangible manner, often in with notable impact or consequences. The new policy will affect the company profit in a material way. That eight paragraph, we have the recipients and the big new and late. We have the recipients that the big performer new and late. We will find out that the wealthy leader of the executive industry across the border new and late, because this is the operating principle of the system. But the more injury they have perpetrated, that is also level change. It is a power behind civil disobedience. One of the best way I know to connect with people and bring them into the movement. Billionaire of human lives are on the lines, or our institution laws and social system have not yet realized this. When the billionaire clause and corporation oppose on a grave danger through the web of laws that have created, when they use those laws as a normative framework to kill us, it is time to disobey that, and it is not necessary to turn yourself in. Receipts is the physical or digital records, documents, or record. For example, can I get a receipt from a purchase, please? Big oil new and late. Climate change and its connection fossil fuel. Big performer new airlines guessed that these corporations were aware of certain information potentially related to safety or efficiency of their products, but deliberately concealed or misrepresented this information. Find out to discover or learn something. I find out the answer to your question and get back to you. Operating principle, a fundamental rules, concept, or assumptions that guide the operations, behavior, or decision making of system, organization, or individuals. The company operating principle is to prioritize customer satisfaction above all else. Perpetrated is to commit or carry out a harmful or wrongful, legal, legal acts, illegal acts, often with deliberate attention and planning. The company perpetrated a massive fraud schemes, deceiving thousands of investors. Disobedience, a act of refusing or failing obey rules, laws, and authority. The student disobedience is clause lead to embedding with principles. On the line, his job was on the line of if he did not meet the sale targets. Realized to become aware of understand something often suddenly unaccepted. She realized her mistake and apologized for team. Corporation, large business and organizations. Pose to positions or place. She posed for the photographer, smiling and looking relaxed. Grave danger is a situation or condition that poses a serious and immediate threat to someone's life, safety, and well-being. The hikers were in grave danger after getting lost in the wilderness with no supplies. Framework is conceptual or physical structure, provides supports, guidance, organizations for system, process, and data. To disobey intentionally refuse to fail or comply with the rule, order, or instructions. The students was punish the disobeying the teacher instruction. To disobey can imply a range of motivations and rebellion or negligence. To turn yourself to voluntary surrender or authorities often to face consequences answer for one actions. For example, the suspect divided to turn himself in admitting to the crime and cooperating with the investigation. Let's go everything we can think of cheap away to at the social license that the billionaire class that the fossil fuel industry desperately killing to this is their Achilles heels and were to the right side history. Cheap way is gradually reduced or wear something done, often through persistent and repeated. The team chipped away at the opposing team lead, scoring point to point. Desperately in a way that shows a strong sense of need desire often is a feeling of hopelessness. She searched that desperately for her lost keys, worrying she missed her fight. Killing to hold tightly or desperately to something often due to fear, anxiety, emotional attachment. She killings to the memories of childhood finding comfort in nostalgia. Achilles heels, a vulnerable to weak spot in a otherwise strong person system other which can lead to downfall or failure. The company Achilles heels is reliance on a single spiral making. The next paragraph resistance is a choice to commit, to fight, refuse to comply, advance, and into climate every bit to extra fossil fuel burned every fraction of a degree of added heating matters. It is late, we are already lost a lot. That but it is never to be late to fight. Get creative, get spicy, and fight on every front. Resistance is opposing a refuser. The company showed resistance to a new development project to commit, to pledge or bind on self. She committed to attending meeting. To refuse is to decline or reject. She refused the offer because it was a good fit. To comply, to obey or follow rules. The company complies with a environmental regulation. Every bit admitting operations completely or entirely. I appreciate your help every bit as much as I did yesterday. Fraction of a small, a part, a proportion of percentage or something. I have only read a fraction of books so far. B2 can indicate that something in excessive or extreme. This cake is too sweet. Get creative to think out of the box. To comply up the new original imaginative ideas solutions. Get spicy is a phrase that depending on the context. Spicy means to add something excitement, energy or controversy. Conservation situation and performance. The thing that gives me hope strangely that is I have accepted on this form of profit obsessed modernity executive colonial capitalism has been death cult for hundreds of years and know the makes or of I know human can much better this but before we new things can emerge we have let to go of the billionaire creating planet overheating healthcare restricting genocidal these were the things we have known. I hope to live see something better arise and a society whose goal is the well-being of all, even through I it will unfortunately to be on a hotter planet. Strangely, a peculiar or unexpected manner. The doctor created open strangely as if had punished it. Of this form is having similar structure or pattern. The new policy is of this form or stricter regulation and penalties. Profit obsessed, excessively focused on work or making money, generating feats of expense of other values considerations. The profit obsessed corporations prioritize shareholders' values over implies welfare and environment sustainability. Modernity is a to recap modernity state of being modern, contemporary, characterized by industrialization, technological advancement, urbanization, secularization, and globalizations. The cities seek skyscrapers of bustling streets embodied the spirit of modernity. To recap, the act of extracting or removing resources such as natural resources, data, or labor after economic gain. The executive industry has been characterized for its environmental degradations and human rights abuses. Colonial capitalism is a system of economic exploitation operations that where colonial power exacted resources, labor, or wealth from colonized territories, populations for the benefit of colonial elites. The legacy of colonial capitalism continued to shape economic and social structure and many post-colonial societies. Has been is a present perfect tense. Present perfect tense is used to describe an action that started in the past continues up to the present moment. It is formed using auxiliary verb has to have. Pulse past participle of the main verb. For example, she has been studying English for 3 years. Death cult a group of organizations that glorifies worship death, often a way that harmful, destructive themselves other. Marks are of idiomatic expression that truth is finally relieved, pretenses are dropped, emerge, emerge to come into view or existence often suddenly or unacceptedly. The butterfly emerged from its cocoon, its wing unfurled slowly. Have to is a modal verb that means to be required, obligated to something, necessity or obligations. Requirement or industry. I have to finish this project to tomorrow. Let go is to release or surrender something often emotionally or physically. Let's go off the rope, it's secure. Billionaire creating a system process or opportunity that generate enormous wealth and potentially creating billionaire. The tech industry has been billionaire creating entrepreneurs with innovation ideas, restricting to limit or constrain something often by imposing rules, regulation, or physical barriers. The government is restricting travel to certain centuries, countries due to health concern. Restricting is often used to discussions of rules, regulation, or places. A team of extreme violence and destruction. Genocidal is intentional and systematic destruction of racial, ethnic, religious, and national groups. The genocidal policies of the regime lead to the death of millions of people. Bitter arise. Bitter arise to rise above difficulties or challenges after renewed strength or determination. After facing numerous setbacks and decided it was time to bitter arise, tackle our goals with renewed energy. Well-being is a state of being comfortable, healthy, and happy, encompassing physical, emotional, mental, and social aspect. Regular exercise and balanced nutrition contribute to over well-being. To be on a hotter planet is a metaphorical or literal expression that to experience or imagine to replace a situation with extremely high temperature, potentially feelings overwhelmed and uncomfortable. So started the against and the repeat paragraph. When I feel assert, I find it helpful to write down things I know to be true. Fossil fuel are causing irreversible planetary overheating. Overheating threats essentially all life on Earth. Oil and gas executive knew this, but they choose to systematically lie or block to climate transition. They continue to make this choice. I choose to focus my energy on the climate crisis because its habitable planet is a prerequisite for everything worth fighting for, and because the prospect of losing a planet feels horrific and sad to me, the primary way in I cannot express with words. I am also simply too in love with Earth, but planetary overheating is really just the most genocidal symptoms of executive colonial capitalism. Billionairism is a system designed to pump wealth from the poor to the rich, creating billionaire that healthcare crisis is housing crisis and genocides, hierarchies like racism, patriarchy, and great deals of suffering. Humanity already has a technology to quickly transition away from fossil fuel. Solar has been the cheapest way to produce electricity for half decades now, but ultra wealthy people are blocking the transition. Perhaps we do not awake with intent to destroy the planet, but they invested in maintaining the executive system that gives them to good like power and privilege. It is destroying the planet. Our centuries enclosure of ultra wealthy have refined a system in which wealth accrues more wealth. Even spanning generation they have systematically removed constraint on their ability to hoard, buying politicians and laws, and to further tilt the system in their favor and increase their hold on power. Elon Musk just spent $277 billion to elect Trump and other Republican candidates, but this was to mere 0.26% of this net worth. Understanding just how to which wealth $430 billion represent require a good visualization. The Mountain Valley Pipeline, a fact project that it is the lost things overheating planet needs that had been essentially killed activists that was revived after a blocking backing corporation donated a merely 30,000 2,600 to the Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer. But to solve the climate crisis, the healthcare crisis, and all the other symptoms of billionaires to transition to system designed for well-being of all. Power must flow away from the billionaire class, and as Earth rapidly overheat, the rest of us cannot wait for them to cede power voluntarily. Due to in part to the lies intentionally spread by fossil fuel to executive, most people still have to clue what give danger they're in. The wealthy are stealing the planet from the under them. To resist them, start by orienting against the real enemy. Wealthy people invested in the status quo, the for climate specifically oriented against the oil, gas, and coal executive who spread the disinformation to continue profiting from our planet's destruction. Taking away their power won't to be easy. They use to their influence to the media to keep the rest of the divided and ignorant lane to the sort of coherent public outrage that would be downfall. But people are waking up, those who are fighting for the livable planet and build our own power. Join together in mutual support to use the truth of fan to flame of justified range in every way can. A global heating is continued to accelerate. A billionaire class or will attempt to use the worsening climate catastrophe to further divide of redirecting our fears toward escape of gods through using fascism further consolidate power through state violence. We must use candidate chaos and city to unite across the aisle. Conservative work class people through gaslight political and faith leader who continue to lie and tell them to climate crisis is a hoax, or realizing through their lived experience that the planet actually is hovering and breaking down. We must welcome them into the movement of movement. Can imagine finding of a common ground to each other. Can we imagine coming out of fear that make us to the easy divide? I have experienced to my own grief that can threatening to those of killing cheap hope. Paradoxically, real hope comes across accepting grief from allowing for to your mind to let get go modernity. Because this letting go unlock the possibilities pathway of fractions, we must guard against the kind of superficial hope that is services of Daniel, such as the belief that we can keep fossil fuel modernity going with distraction like recycling and carbon capture. Let's have a conspiracy block, potlucks Let's remember how to listen and to figure things together. Let's join a network of communities based on trust and mutual aid, where we have each other's backs and take care of other material way. And we have the rapist that big oil lead. We have the rapist that the big performer that lead. We will find out that we wealthy leader of executive industry across the board new lead because it is operating principle of the system, but the moral and energy perpetrating is also lever change. It is the power of defined disobedience, one of the best way I know to connect with people and bring them into the movement. Billionaire of women lives on the line, or our institution, laws, and social system have no realize when the billionaire clause and its corporation pose such a grave danger through well of the creative when they have used law and dominative framework to kill us. It is time disobey and it is necessary to turn out let or do everything we can think cheap way at the social license and the billionaire clause and fossil or foil industry desperately killing too. This is their Achilles heels, and we are on the right side of history. Resistance is a choice to commit to fight to refuse to comply in advance. And in climate, every bit of the extra fossil fuel burned, every fraction of degree of added heating matters. It is late that we are added lost a lot, but we will never be to be late or fight. And get creative, get spicy, and fight on every front. The thing that gives me hopes, strangely, is that I have accepted the end of this form of profit obsessed modernity. Executive colonial capitalism has been death cult of hundreds of years, and now the mask for are off. No humans can do much better this, but before the new things can emerge, we have to let go to of billionaire creating planet overheating, healthcare restricting, genocidal things we have no. I hope to live to see something better rise, a society whose goal is the well-being of all, through even through it will unfortunately to be on hotter planet. So welcome back to Smile English Learn. Please subscribe this channel and share to new channels, and please comments. Let's go and next lesson. Please subscribe this channel and share and comments.